Well, Geltzeiler, it was the Jazz that the Warriors swept in round 2 last night, and now there'll be some decisions to be made for that organization with their front office and some key free agents. Gordon Hayward has a player option that he will most likely opt out of so he can try and make some more cash either in Utah or elsewhere. George Hill will be an unrestricted free agent. Hill said today that Hayward's decision will impact his own. So with that being said, Geltzeiler, what are the chances the Jazz are able to bring both Hayward and Hill back for 2017-18 and beyond?
I think it's a pretty decent chance they'll bring them both back. Gordon Hayward last year wanted out and wanted to push his way to Boston and really tried to. They brought George Hill on board, and he said, I'm going to give it another year with George Hill and look at my opt-out next year. There's no way to say it didn't turn out well. They won 51 games, made the second round of the playoffs, and I don't think they were going to beat the Warriors in a series regardless. But if they had George Hill, they certainly would have had a better chance than the performance they gave in terms of getting sweep and not having him at home for Games 3 and Games 4. But I'll also say this. George Hill is a conundrum for the Utah Jazz because if you knew he was going to be able to give you 70 to 75 games in the season and be healthy for the playoffs, you sign him. It's a no-brainer, and you don't have to go crazy and pay him max. And you got to give him a good contract. But he's not going to necessarily have to make $30 million a year. But here's the thing. You needed him in a big spot this year, and once again, he was hurt. He was hurt a lot during the season, and you do wonder, can you count on him? Because he emerges as the most important player in this team. He'll be the most important player in this team again if he's there next year, because you look at the wing depth, guys like Johnson and Ingles and Hood. If you didn't have Hayward, granted, you're not as good, but you can cover for that with your depth. Even Gobert, Favors did a nice job for them. They need George Hill badly, and once you pay him money and you're, to use a poker term, pot committed on him, then all of a sudden he gets hurt. You're in trouble. It's a pretty decent point guard market here. It wouldn't surprise me if George Hill tries to drive the price up, if the Jazz kind of play and then dance with some other partners a little bit to see what else is there. It's a very interesting dance between those two, but a tough spot for the Jazz with George Hill. Not a no-brainer in my book.